What's cooking, New Ulm? I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Hearts Beat Back Heart of New Ulm Project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. All right, so tonight we're going to go with a little bit of a different theme. We're going to come up with something that your whole family will enjoy, and we're going to stay green. All right, so I'm going to show you how to make a green pizza. I know, our first thought is, great, this is not going to taste good. Well, I can tell you, with 4 kids, I've made it at home, and they love it. So the first thing we're going to do is I went ahead and greased, or you can use cooking spray, just a regular baking sheet, and I have some prepared pizza dough. So I just want to spread that out on here, get that separated out. You know, this stuff is kind of sensitive, so you can't let this bake too long. This is a very quick turnaround on our pizza dough, so be careful. Just a word to the wise that this will cook very quickly. With these, again, as with any of these recipes, when you find fruits and vegetables that you really enjoy, go ahead and add a little bit of extra. There's no set quantity on vegetables. The more you can get, the better. Remember, for that Mediterranean diet, we're looking for 7 to 9 fruits and vegetables per day. Recent studies are starting to come out saying that really the Mediterranean diet is the best that you can get out there. About a 30% reduction in the incidence of heart disease just by following that Mediterranean diet. The Heart of New Ulm has been promoting the Mediterranean diet for the last 5 years of our project, and it's nice to see that studies are following that up, saying, yes, we are on the right track, and New Ulm, you're eating the right way. All right, so now all I want to do is take this, I'm going to throw it in the oven for just 3 or 4 minutes. Now, I'm not baking this off completely because the rest of our ingredients are going to go on top, and we're going to use this in the oven again. So I just want to firm it up a little bit, start to get that golden color to it, and then I'm going to pull it back out. All right, so while we're doing that, we're going to take broccoli. I'm going to cut that up, and we're going to put that into some water. We're going to steam that out, making it nice and crisp. And then a little bit of a different edge to this pizza is we're going to take our lettuce, we're going to put it in that water with our broccoli, and we're going to steam the lettuce. And actually, we have spinach and radicchio, and I have some other greens in there, some arugula. That's really going to add a lot of really nice flavor. Obviously dense in our nutrients, and we're going to wilt that out and put it on top of our pizza. The base of this is not a marinara sauce. We're not going with a red sauce, but we're going to use a prepared pesto sauce. This is going to be something that has basil and onions and lots of other great flavor in there. It does have some soy oil in there as well, a lot of garlic, a little bit of seasonings, some chives, great flavor, and that is going to be the base of our pizza. Let's break these up. You can use a little bit or a lot of it on our broccoli. It is the filler, so make sure you get enough to cover the entire pizza. If you find these little ends that are going to be a little bit more tough, go ahead and cut those off as well. All right, so let's go back to the stove. I'm going to bring the broccoli, and remember, I'm bringing my greens as well. This isn't going to take us long over here. We're going to fire this up. Get it up to a pretty good heat. Once that's up to a boiling, this isn't going to take us too long. We're going to put this right in our colander and let that green up just a bit. Ooh, lost one there. Got to run away. Okay. It's going to be easy enough. Now, if you don't have a colander, feel free. You can dump it right in the water. It's not going to lose a lot of the nutrients just because we're going to just do this for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to grab a spoon and get this moving. The nice thing about a gas stove is we're going to have some immediate heat. This water is just going to take a couple of minutes. We'll have this up and boiling. You're going to see this is going to turn to a beautiful dark green color. All that vitamin K. Remember, broccoli is also a good source of our calcium. If you're not a milk drinker or yogurt, you can definitely get some of that calcium from our broccoli. While that's going, we're keeping an eye on our pizza dough. That's already starting to rise just a bit. The Heart of New Ulm will be starting their new Community Health Challenge in the next month or two. This is going to help promote weight loss throughout our entire community. This is going to be our biggest Community Health Challenge project, so we do hope that everyone in our community will get involved. You're going to find the rewards on this are not just beneficial to you, but for our entire community. There'll be some capital investments given back to New Ulm to encourage us to maintain or lose weight. We don't forget about those that are already at their ideal body weight, and we want to help you and encourage you to stay at the healthy weight that you're at. Okay, so these are already greening up quite nicely. We're going to start seeing that green in the bottom of the water. Remember with that Mediterranean diet, 7 to 9 fruits and vegetables per day. This recipe actually does have some mozzarella cheese, and that's going to be the base protein for this recipe. Our crust, of course, will be our carbohydrate, and then we're going to get plenty of vegetable servings in this as well. So a very nice, complete meal. You can see how that's turning that darker green. That's exactly what we're looking for. All right, now that that's about done, we're going to go ahead and add this in. Like I said, you can see spinach, you can see radicchio, lots of different kinds of greens in here, and that's what's going to bring in lots of different flavor. So don't stick with that iceberg lettuce, or even if you've gone to spinach, be brave, branch out, try something new. You're going to find that you're going to avoid that salad fatigue. Okay, so this is going to start boiling down just a bit. Want to keep that moving a little bit. Make sure you still have water in the bottom, just a little bit. You can see how that's compacting quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out our crust from the oven. Yep, just the way we want it. You can see it's just starting to brown on our edges. Set that over here on the counter. All right. A minute or two yet with our vegetables. You can see our greens have pretty well wilted. Perfect. And bring that over to the stove as well, over to the counter as well, excuse me. All right, so now that we've put everything together, we've got everything baked off, let's go ahead and start with our pesto. Like I mentioned, this is our new base. We're not using a marinara. This is a very nice flavor. You know, this can be made at home as well. You don't have to buy the prepared pesto. You can use your own garlic and basil and get that herb garden really rocking. Sometimes we grow herbs and then we don't know what to do with them, and they end up going to waste. So find recipes like this for a pesto sauce. Use it as the base. It's got a nice olive oil in there. Very nice. I'm going to make sure we get that well coated on here. Okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to add those vegetables on top. We're just going to spread them all over here. Try not to drop too much of that water, even if you have a little bit left in the bottom of your pan. Make sure we keep that off there as well. Now you could add other things in here as well. You could add mushrooms, you could be adding onions, you could add pretty well anything you'd like. So don't be limited by the recipes. These are suggestive recipes, and these are easily modified to your taste. So if you're not a big broccoli fan, continue to try the dough, try the pesto sauce, and maybe try some squash or red pepper or something else on top. But if you find a recipe that's heart healthy and you find an ingredient you don't like, don't let it turn you off. Don't let it be the deciding factor of whether or not you're going to follow up with that recipe. Now the last thing we're going to do here is we're going to add some cheese on the top. Remember, cheese is not our enemy. We just need to watch the quantity for which we choose to put on. So with this amount, we've spread it out pretty evenly, not a big portion, and it's good to go. I'm going to throw this back in the oven. We're going to give it about 5 to 7 minutes, and it's going to be ready to go. There we go. All right, and while that bakes off, we're going to get ready for our second recipe. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second part of tonight's episode of What's Cooking, New Ulm? All right, so we've taken our pizza out of the oven, and you can see this looks delectable. A nice golden crust on that. Our greens are really popping, and we've got the cheese for the flavor. So this is perfect, ready to cut up and go for your family. You know, do make sure you get that oil or that spray on the bottom so your crust comes off nice and easily. But, you know, this is great. You're really going to enjoy this one. If you have any inkling of loving pizza, this is the recipe for you. All set to go. All right, so we're ready to start our second recipe. So you have your pizza, and you're feeling like you're living it up a little bit. So with that, we want to go ahead and make a nice salad. Of course, we need to have our salad because we're working for our 7 to 9 fruits and vegetables according to the Mediterranean diet. Easy enough. That's the way I like them. Nice, easy recipes. So we're going to start. Again, I have my mix. Remember, I use this for our pizza. I'm going to go ahead and I want to carry this over. We're going to dual purpose our foods. We're going to use this right in there. Radicchio, arugula, spinach, all of our different greens. I see some dandelions in here. We're going to fill that out, make a nice, pretty salad. You know, even it by itself, if you're putting this on your table, it's looking great. You're going to be set to go, and people are going to think you're a great chef just by adding the different flavors. This is much more appealing, has great flavor, and is so much more nutrient dense than your regular lettuce. Make one switch. If you're going to make a switch this week, maybe go to your darker greens, your mixed greens. Going to add nutrients. You're going to be a little bit more healthy. With every meal, I always like to make sure that we have our protein base to it. And for this meal, I'm going to use some kidney beans. Now, kidney beans are very high in fiber, high in protein, and they're non-cholesterol containing. They have no saturated fat. They're perfect food. They're great. We're going to add them right in there. They don't have to be cooked. Now, these came out of a can, and I've rinsed them and drained them, and that's going to help keep some of that salt out. But again, because we're dispersing it over so many portions, the small amount of salt that you'll be taking in from these beans is not enough to throw off our diet. So still, very moderated food, going to taste great. Now, as with any salad, we can add in all the vegetables we want. This one calls for some radishes. We're going to cut those up again. Like I've mentioned in the past, these are always available at your grocer. They're low cost and have great flavor. If you haven't been using them except for in the summer when they're coming out of your garden, take a minute and say why. Why don't you enjoy this flavor year-round? What is it that you're missing? You know, as we go through these episodes, you can see that these recipes really don't take that long. It's not that hard to put these together, and they are definitely something you can do for your family. If you have kids, remember, stay with it. Be tenacious. It takes 7 times of showing kids a food before they are comfortable with it. So if they don't like your salad tonight, don't be offended and don't be worried. Show it again next week, and the next week, and the next week. And pretty soon, it will become one of the staples in your house. If you bring your lunch to work, easy enough. This is going to make a nice big batch. This is going to keep for several days. I'm going to hold out. I'm not even adding a dressing to this one tonight because there's so many different dressings on our website that you can reference and add on this. There's no specific flavor you have to make with this. Don't put your dressing on until you're ready to take it to work. Once the dressing goes on, it's going to sog your lettuce or your greens, and you're going to lose a lot of that texture. The appearance is going to get a little ugly, and it's not going to be as palatable. Okay, so that looks like a pretty good sampling on our radishes. Again, we had sugar snap peas. We could add those in there, throw it all together. Anything you can think of to add that extra flavor. Now, if you wanted to, I have some bell peppers out here. We still have carrots we could throw in here. Anything you can think of just to add a little bit of extra flavor. Now, the key to this one is going to be the feta cheese. Feta is a little bit lower in fat. It's already crumbled. You don't have to cut it up at all, and we're going to put it right over the top. Now, with this, you're going to make sure you're going to use some kind of a vinaigrette. It's going to neutralize the bitterness of the feta cheese. If you just want to make your own balsamic vinegar, it's going to be 1/4 vinegar and then 3/4 olive oil. So you could use a raspberry vinegar to make a great flavor for this one, a strawberry vinegar. You could use a red wine vinegar. That'll neutralize that feta. You know, you can make these things yourself. You don't have to pay the extra money for the expensive products. So remember, 3/4 of olive oil to 1/4 of that vinaigrette. And there you go. It's beautiful. This is something that every guest coming into your home would enjoy. Your family will feel like they're eating out, and you can be sure that you're giving them a heart-healthy meal. Couple that salad, using those same greens over and over, with our pizza, and we've got one heck of a heart-healthy meal for the evening. All right, that's it. Easy enough. That was a 5-minute meal on this salad. Stick with it. Make those heart-healthy meals. Call us when you need us, or visit our website at heartsbeatback.org. All the recipes can be found on there. If you don't have access to the internet, please feel free to give me a call at 217-5945. That's it. That's this week's episode of What's Cooking, New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar. See you next week.